Hi there, Arrow.
Hi, how are you doing today, Alice?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, you've got to tell me how you can do a brilliant journalism story like this and keep your own mind, body, and soul clean. Because, I mean, you go into this story.
You know, that's so funny. A lot of people ask me that because I cover, a lot of fringe online communities and sort of people who have ideas that a lot of people think are strange or weird. And, people always ask me, like, how do you take them seriously, or how do you not laugh out loud when you hear some of this? But I really do think my job as a journalist is to meet people where they are. And even if an idea seems strange, to try to understand where they're coming from. So that's what I tried to do here.
Wow. And what drew you to this? Because, I mean, online dating and matchmaking has been around for a long time, but nothing at this level of play.
Yeah, I mean, online dating and matchmaking is honestly a great way to meet people, right? That's how a lot of people meet the person that they're with today, is online. But I think the problem is with catfishing and with romance scams, I mean, you just never really know who you're talking to. And so what our docuseries is about is a pair of matchmakers and love coaches who actually started what a lot of people think is a cult. So, you join hoping to get confirmation from a spiritual guru about, am I with the person I'm supposed to be, or who is the person I'm supposed to be with, and they call that person a twin flame. But what happens is people get really sucked in and they end up being abused by the leaders.
It's almost like soulmates are under attack, because I've always said my wife is a soulmate, but do soulmates even exist these days?
Well, I think a soulmate is a concept that a lot of people understand to be, the person that you're supposed to be with. And a twin flame is kind of like another version of that. I would say it's a more explicitly spiritual version of that. A twin flame supposedly within this theology is like the other half of your soul. So this is somebody who you were created for, and you're magnetically attracted to this person across multiple lifetimes. I mean, another way to think of it is it's just a soulmate for people who are into kind of like yoga and tarot and crystals. And if you're, into that kind of new age stuff and that type of spirituality, then you might have heard of twin flames.
I've never heard of that term before, but yet I understand everything that you're saying, because my own imagination right now is going, well, is there somebody that is my twin flame? And I've just never heard it as such.
Well, of course. I mean, the second you hear of it, you're like, well, even if you don't believe it, you're like, if it could be possible, you're kind of like, of course I want to find mine. But I think that's a really natural reaction. And I think that that's totally fine. I think the problem is, and what our docuseries explores is, just because when people are looking for love, and if they've been unlucky in love, they sometimes become very vulnerable. And that's where gurus who have a financial interest in kind of keeping people locked in and manipulating people, for their own personal power can really take advantage of the situation.
Did you have to play out a role in order to gain the access of trust, faith from people? Because, I mean, you can't just walk into a store and say, hey, I've heard a rumor.
Are you asking how I was able to get the cult leaders to talk to me?
Yeah, because, I mean, you got to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I'm a journalist, and I've been a reporter, writing about kind of the fringes of culture and internet culture for over a decade. And so, I reached out to them. I had done a lot of research before I reached out to them. I had talked to a lot of people, so I knew what I was getting into. But I think, it's funny. I introduced myself as a journalist, and I just asked them, and they said yes. And I think it's partially that, unfortunately, people like them are often very keen for exposure. And so, maybe it wasn't in their self-interest to talk to me, but they did anyway.
To uncover a shocking truth, I can't imagine how your team, because a group of people brought this entire docuseries together, and it's like that, those moments where you go, oh wow, I didn't know. There had to have been several of those, because as a viewer, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was an incredible team of people who made this documentary. And I also just want to kind of give a shout out to all of the survivors, the people who were in this organization, who came forward bravely to tell their stories. It's really not easy to exit a coercive organization. This organization, asks you to quit your job, to volunteer. They cut you off from your friends and family. They tell you who you should be in love with. In some cases, they set you up with someone within the organization and say, well, now this person's your twin flame. And, they've even told people, they've even done a form of conversion therapy where they tell people, in order to find your twin flame, you need to change your sexual orientation or your gender identity, which is, really, really disturbing. And it's really hard to talk about. It's really hard to get out of an organization like that. And so I want to say that our docuseries is really, only could have been possible with the stories of these survivors that bravely came forward.
Those survivors have stories. And that's the thing about it, is that somehow, some way you've been called to this moment, because we as a community need to learn more about stuff like this, because it is too easy to jump online and try to find love.
Yeah, I guess I want to say that I think you can find love online. And I don't think that most people looking for love online, will be seduced by an organization like this. I think it's a minority, right? But I also do think, there are a lot of conspiratorial ideas online. There are a lot of harmful things that you can find when you're looking for something that seems as innocuous as love. And so I just think it's something to look out for.
Is there going to be any type of education or a website? Because, people are going to be tapping into this show and they're going to be going, oh my God, I think I'm part of this. How do I find information about this so I can break free of it, or to find some sort of support system?
Yeah, I think that the docuseries itself has a lot of helpful information about just, with the survivor stories that came forward, what to do. But I would advise anyone who's trying to get out of an organization like this to just reconnect with your friends and family who are outside of the organization, who maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, and try to talk to them about it. And then I also recommend seeing a therapist.
What is it about documentaries like this that draw people to your stories? Because I remember there for a while, the only thing that we had when it came to journalism was a 2-minute bit at 5 o'clock. But now, you guys dive in and bring us true journalism.
Yeah, I love that this is a 3-part docuseries with 3 episodes, an hour each. And yeah, you really do get to see, you feel like you understand what it's like to be in an organization like this, watching it. And I think that's one of the, fascinating things, is to kind of, it might seem so strange, like on the surface, how could someone join an organization like this? But, when you watch the docuseries, you'll see that, when the leaders of this group, Jeff and Shaleia, first present themselves, they seem really relatable. They seem like people you could be friends with. And, they say that they're in love, that they are each other's twin flame, which seems like something that, they've found the thing that I'm looking for, right? And so what we do is, in the series, is we really take people through the journey. Why do people join? And then what do the leaders reveal their true colors as? Because that really changes over the course of the episodes.
Once again, I don't know how you stayed strong, because I guess I'm the doubter that would become the follower, because I would sit there going into the project going, okay, there's no way, I doubt. Oh my God, now I'm starting to believe I'm one of them.
It's never happened to me, but I'm never going to say never. But yeah, just try to do my job, talk to people with different perspectives, and don't discount anyone, but also be skeptical of, a guy who's charging you $4,000 for a supposed therapy technique, but says he's the Master Christ. You should walk away from that.
Don't you love the way, though, as a journalist, how we can look at the world and see things that other people are passing by, and it's through journalism that we're able to recognize it as regular people and then bring the story to them?
Yeah, I love being a journalist. I feel like it's the best job in the world. I'm so grateful that every day I get to wake up and think of story ideas and kind of see what's going on in the world. And then also, just make a phone call or send an email to a person I've never met and say, hey, introduce myself. I want to hear your story. And that people are willing to trust us as journalists and to share their stories with us is something I'm incredibly grateful for. And I'm incredibly grateful that the survivors of Twin Flames universe trusted me with their stories.
Oh my God. Yeah, but just giving yourself permission to do this is just amazing. And people need to watch this 3-part series, because it's going to open up their eyes.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a really wild ride. Yeah.
Wow. You got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Arrow.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Thank you.